But if you have not, that's okay. So I'm going to hand you, your group, your team, a few picture file cards on it. And we're going to do what's called an open sort. We've done this before when we did social studies with early humans. We did it a long time ago, where I gave you the cards and I told you you could do an open sort. What does it mean by an open sort? Deborah?
Like, see what matches.
See what matches.
Sorted into groups.
Sorted into groups. Okay. Find a group for it.
Kind of like comparing and contrasting.
Compare and contrast. Anybody else? Good, you're on the right track, Jaren. You're going to sort it into groups. But you guys, because it's an open sort, you guys get to define your groups. So as a team, when you head together, as a team, you get to decide your groups. You may have 10 groups. You may have 2 groups. You may have 3 groups. It's all about what you define it as a team. Does that make sense? There's no rules per se. All right? So when I get in, Reese, question.
Are we going to be doing the vocab chart?
Yes, eventually. Yes. Okay. Are there any questions on what you need to do, what you and your team need to do? Okay, as soon as I hand them out, your group can start, okay? All right, here we go. I'm going to give you a few minutes, not too terribly long. Uh-oh, I may give you way too
I see MJ.
Do you?
Really?
Amazing,
Basketball?
Basketball?
Basketball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead and get started.
I do too.
If I have extra pictures, I'll come by and give you some.
No, thank you.
All right, get started. You're welcome.
Guys, let's do.
Oh, I gave you guys that.
Basketball. NBA basketball.
Okay, done it. So these are presidents. This is basketball. No, teamwork. This will be basketball.
Oh,
This could be teamwork. This could be sports. Sports. This could be teamwork. This could be teamwork. This could be sports. They're all sports. Sure. Sports and teamwork. And then presidents. Whatever.
Hardworking.
Those are people that own like a team.
Like you have like a sports category.
Chicken nugget.
So let's do teams, and this looks like it's maybe thinking let's do group of like
Separate people on one person.
learn how to play basketball.
Separate people on more than one.
Let's do like this is like trying to learn how people learn something. It's like teams, learning how, and like group.
Aren't they like growing up and success?
number 2's in the group. By show of fingers, how many more minutes do you need to finish your sort? Between 0 and 1, 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute, 0. Okay, so we're going to compromise. We're going to go a minute and 30 seconds. Okay, ready, go.
Fitness, people, and
Okay, what'd you guys talk about?
we did not really anything.
So you guys didn't head together. So when I call your number,
Fitness. This is
Don't go 5 to 6.
with accomplishments and these are quotes.
so fitness,
Yes.
We can just say
accomplishments,
Yes. And quotes.
and quotes. Ooh, I love that.
we said future players.
What are these?
Those are younger. Young people.
About 30 seconds.
Medium.
Independent players. And this would be team of the.
I'm going with what I originally said. Young high people, old people, medium.
But you guys have your categories all set up?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, have them set out. Have them wait. So all of that is one.
Well, I mean, there's like
Oh. All right. That works. That works.
Then it gets older.
Wait, what?
No. I'm classified. I'm an alien.
Leadership. Okay. Very good. Perfect. All right. So we're gonna go. Let's go. This team right here. You're gonna share with me how you sorted it. What was your thought process? Number 6.
So what we did was we sort of separated.
Hold on 1 second, Abram. The only person talking is number 6 over here, and your eyes are over here, and making sure that you're an attentive listener. Go ahead, Abram.
We took all the kids in the all the pictures that had kids in it, and we said youth.
Youth. Okay.
And then we knew that these 2 were basketball players.
Okay.
So we put them over here for current or past basketball players.
Okay.
And then over here we have coaches.
So coaches. So pictures of coaches, pictures of the youth, and then pictures of former or current NBA basketball players. Nice job. Okay, that group right there. Number 2.
We have for this one teamwork,
Teamwork,
and then independent work,
independent work,
and leadership.
and leadership. So they took it where the people were in a leadership type role. Then they took it as where there were teamwork, and then when I talked to them, their group talked about how the ones that were individual, they were just individual pictures and players of that nature. Okay, that group right there, number 5.
So we sorted it as so all the kids are in like their basketball group, so we said teams, and
Okay.
then there's coaches over there telling them what to do, so we put coaching, and then over here, this one is rewarding.
Oh, like they won some kind of an award. Okay, very good. Okay, so nicely done, you guys. Nice job. Well, I'm going to come around with my bag, just gather them all up and put them in there while we transition to the next activity. No, we don't have time for everybody, but that's why I checked in with all of you. Okay, so most of you, what I found were very similar ideas. Coaching, teamwork, individual players versus groups of players. I like it that some of you used character traits, leadership roles, teamwork, and such. So that is awesome. Nice job. So if that's any indication about what our next story is about, maybe you have some kind of an idea what our next story is about, which we won't start until we come back from break. All right. So eyes up here. So we're going to go over a learning target. We have a lot of things that we're going to be doing today, but our primary focus is on vocabulary. So I have our standard here. Is that a lot of words? That's a lot, right? Okay, so I'm going to read it. Listen carefully for those key words, because then I'm going to give you a chance to come up with your own and what do you think it means with what I just said. Okay, here we go. I can use context. So examples of context is the overall meaning of a sentence or paragraph, a word's position or function in a sentence, as a clue to the meaning of a word or phrase. I can use context as a clue to the meaning of a word or phrase. Okay? So what I want you to do right now is heads together and tell me in your own words, what does it mean that I just said? What is it that we're going to be doing today in your own words? Ready, set, go. Heads together. Heads together.
To figure out.
Like use the context or the word.
That's basically what she just said.
If you don't know what a word is, it's not going to use the context or the word around it. You try to figure out what.
Oh, good one, Jared.
Oh, by trying to understand.
Like is there that around it? Is that figure out what it means? In the paragraph too.
So if you don't know what a word is, then
He worded like words like see like the middle of the book might just the word around it. So like the text
Okay, that's not what we're focused on. Is that the library's book? Then you need to make sure it's something today that you go up and have it. Okay, and I would. No, I would quit doing it. She may take it from you to have it rebound. Nicely done. All right. I didn't hear from this group on the last go round. Number 5. What does it mean what I just said?
It means to find key context clues in the sentence.
To find key context clues in the sentence, so using some of those words that I already said. Good. And I did not call on your group, right? I did not. Number 1.
So we kind of talked about like using the text as a way to be able to get the meaning.
Oh, using the text as a way to get at the meaning. Perfect. I heard a lot of similar conversation about that. Nice job. Okay, so now that you know you have it in your own words what it is we're going to be doing, now I want you to answer why. Why do you think it's important that we know how to use the words around a particular word that we're looking at? Why is it important that we know how to do that? Okay, heads together again. Ready, go.
It's important to know how to do this because maybe you don't know what the definition of a word is. Maybe you need to use the surrounding words or context clues to figure it out.
Where to go?
Why is it important that we know what to do? That we know what we're doing? Why are we doing this? For fun.
So you have to have, if you see words and you don't know what it means, this is a way for you to have an understanding of saying it. If you see a word that you don't know, you at least have a strategy to maybe help you figure out what it means. Oh yeah, do we come across words in text that we don't know? Oh, absolutely. Especially in our social studies text or science text. It's rich with content-specific words. The teacher said read this chapter and define these words. And they said you can't use the glossary. Yeah. You better be able to have some different strategies, some tools in your toolbox to help you out. You should have made up something different. Hey, why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? Oh, it leads to other things. I like that piece. It leads to other things too. Good. I heard fantastic conversation. I always leave this. All right, that's group here. Number 3. Why are we doing this? Who's 3? Why are we doing this? Why is it important?
Because that way,
What did your group talk about?
And that, if we don't know a word, we can look around the words around it, so we can try to see what the definition of it is.
Perfect. Nice job. Number 6. Oh, so she said if you came across it
In life, you would at least, what? What was that last part? No, you would know what to do. You would have, so like if you came across a word you didn't know, you would now know what to do instead of skipping over it, right? Nice job. Nice job. It's exactly what. So, we're all familiar with our CCD chart. So we're going to start our vocabulary today. And that's exactly why we need to know how to do this. You have to have tools in your toolbox. I was talking with that group back there. That when you start reading content-rich, like your textbook, like our social studies textbook and science textbook, it's got a lot of words in it, doesn't it? Tons of words. And I gave the example back there to that group. I said, what if the teacher said, here's all the words I want you to define and you can't use a glossary? Yeah, ooh, right? Okay, you can't use a glossary, you can't use a dictionary, you can't use any of those resources. You have to just use context clues. You now have a strategy of how to do so, right? Very good. Okay, so our fancy CCD chart here. I think I chose a pretty good word for our first one. Some of you may know it. It could be 50-50. It could be a lot of yeses. It could be a lot of no's. We'll just figure it out from here. So our word is going to be
Emulate. Say emulate.
emulate. Say emulate to your elbow. Emulate. Say emulate to the ceiling.
Emulate.
Say emulate to your right foot.
Emulate.
Say emulate to your partner.
Emulate.
All right. Just by show of hands, how many of you have heard the word emulate before in context? And you could be a great resource for your group to provide them with a prediction that a prediction that might be one that's on the right track. So emulate, raise your hand if you have heard this word in context before. Raise them up high so I can count them for sure. All right, so 3 heard. Okay, this is kind of what I figured would be. So how many do we have here today? Is everybody here today?
No, we forgot.
Oh, Ashton is not here.
Neither is Logan.
And Logan. So that's 20, you have 26? 23? All right.
No, we have 24 now.
No.
Because we have
Okay, raise your hand if you do not know what emulate means. I'll just count. But if you didn't raise your hand on the first for the heard piece, you would be counted as the not heard, right? Okay, I should see more hands in this because did you know what it meant, April? Okay, hands up if you've never heard this word before. 3, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 21. All right. So in your groups, you are going to heads together. Not yet. You're going to heads together to come up with predictions of what the word emulate means. I want you to pull out all of the knowledge of the word that you can to come up with your predictions and be ready to share. Heads together, go.
Okay.
Sounds like a gym.
Also using one of our...
Emulate means to bring up the volume.
Oh, so that's okay. I mean, if you, well, but here's the deal. There's no necessarily wrong or right. If you don't have anybody, so Reese was one of the ones that said he's okay, so, but do you guys agree with his prediction that it needs to rise?
Maybe.
It could be. So if I call your number, what are you gonna tell me that you know what that word means? Wait, why did you just heard it? Like, what's the context that you heard it? Does that make sense?
Family guy in an elevator.
Okay, so somebody with an elevator, so that makes sense if you say to rise.
Yeah, stimulate, like bring
They said they were trying to fix the elevator and they said we have to emulate it. And then he said, what does that mean?
Ready with your prediction? You can tell me why. Ready with your prediction? You can tell me why. Okay. Perfect. So I heard some great discussion. I even heard some of our previous vocabulary words. So we're going to start with this group right here, and we're going to go backwards. Number 1.
Emulate means to bring up or stimulate.
Bring up.
Like bring up the attitude of the beat.
What was that last part?
Bring up the attitude or the beat. Like.
So I put bring up or stimulate. Was that what you wanted me to write? Okay, and so how did you guys come up with that word?
Because emulate kind of sounds like stimulate.
Oh.
Kind of means that, so that'd be the abbreviation.
Oh, okay, so he's referring to that emulate kind of sounds like stimulate. I heard that conversation in a couple groups. Good. Number 4. Do you guys need to heads together again?
No, we're fine.
Oh, only number 4. I'm sorry, Alex, go ahead, bud. To perfect? Ooh, how'd you guys come up with that? I like that.
Emulate kind of does sound like
Oh, hold on, Alex. There are others that are not showing respect right now. And it's really hard to hear you.
it's like it sounds like it.
It sounds like it. It sounds to perfect. Okay. All right, that works. Nice job. Number 3. Eliminate. And how did you guys come up with that? Oh, eliminate, emulate. It does kind of sound like that. So similar sounding. So you're taking what you know about the sound of the word. Good. This group right here, number 6.
To simulate or guess. Or to guess.
To simulate or guess.
Yeah.
Hold on. 1 second. Waiting for other groups to show us. Okay, go ahead.
So we had 2 for this one. So
That's fine.
to simulate or to guess.
And how did you guys come up with that? To simulate or to guess?
Because simulate, it sort of sounds like emulate.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, emulate, it sort of just goes together.
So similar to what the other group said, that it sounds like eliminate, emulate, simulate. Very good. I like that. And number 3.
To bring up.
To bring up. And how did you come? Jaden, how did you guys come up with that? To bring up.
Because
The only one's talking is Jaden.
it kind of sounds
Like to rise up, to bring up. Okay, nicely done. All right, so we're gonna say emulate.
Emulate.
We're gonna say emulate. Say emulate.
Emulate.
Say emulate. Okay, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a little bit different. You know how we usually do a TPR? We're gonna do it a little differently. Okay, so you are going to be with some of you a group of 3, and some of you your partner. So make sure you're facing a partner or a group of 3. Okay, and then we're gonna say copy. Okay, so emulate. Emulate. Say copy. And how we're gonna copy? Lucius, do you mind standing up really quick?
go now.
So we're just gonna copy. You know, like when you see somebody like copy somebody, like I think of like a mime. You know when they copy. So you're gonna raise.
So Lucius is gonna face me and we're gonna say emulate.
Emulate.
You're gonna say copy.
Copy.
And we're gonna raise just like that. We're gonna copy each other. All right? Make sense? Do we understand that? So you need to make sure you are facing someone or a group of someone's. No? We don't need to stand up. You guys can just face each other at your seat. Okay? Nope, we're just gonna do this. We're not doing our own. You're just gonna do this. Okay, one hand at a time, because you're gonna copy what they're doing. Okay, you ready? So emulate.
Emulate.
Copy. Emulate. Let's try it again. So we say the word, the definition, and then we do our total physical response. Ready? Emulate.
Emulate.
Copy.
Emulate.
Emulate. Let's try it again. Let's copy first and then say emulate. One more time. Emulate.
Emulate.
Copy.
Emulate.
Nice job. Nicely done. All right.
So when I say the word, so this is going to be our target word for the day, our signal word. When I say the word, you are going to come to the carpet. But before we come to the carpet, I'm going to need these 2 groups to stand up when I say go. And we're going to have to make our physical space just a little bit bigger. So, just like we've done in the past when I say go, this group and this group, if you could stand up, be the first to stand up. You guys need to wait until they move their desks to the side so that we can all fit down here. And you just need to come down to the carpet. And you don't need to bring anything this time. Okay? Whoa, wait. I didn't say our signal word. My signal word will be for everybody to come to the carpet. But for right this second, I need these 2 groups to stand up. Ready? Emulate. Emulate. Copy. Emulate. Come on down. So I'm going to sit off to the side so that everybody can see. Crisscross applesauce. Everybody on a seat. Right up here, Kevin. There's a spot right up there, bud.
Kevin, why'd you put my cake?
Excuse you. Make good choices.
He ripped my cake.
No.
He did.
We're not talking about that right now. Kevin, come on up here. Crisscross applesauce, guys. All right, so this is one that where we usually do our read aloud. And remember, this is the part where you only see part of it, and then I read the rest to you. Okay, so our read aloud, the purpose is to model oral fluency. You have to, and I know this is a struggle for 6th grade because we're not necessarily, we don't do a lot of practicing reading aloud, not like the little kiddos, right? The primary grades, they're really learning how to be a reader, they're practicing reading aloud, but it's still important that you know how to model good reading skills out loud. Because you guys have speeches now. We're to the point where you are delivering speeches. And so it's important that you are eloquent and you speak clearly for all to hear. So we're going to read Coach Dad. I'm going to read it aloud. You're going to follow along silently. And really think about author's purpose. Because that's our big key, our target learning, our target skill for this particular one, for this next story. So I want you to think about author's purpose while we're reading it aloud, okay? While I read it aloud. So it says, Coach Dad. This year, Dad started his own business. Now he can make his own hours. Finally, he said, I can be involved in what my kids are doing. I gave him a big bear hug. When he announced that he'd be coaching my soccer team, he got a cooler reception. Dad, I began, you could have talked to me about this first. Well, I meant to, Tammy said, Dad. But when the sports director called looking for coaches, should I have said no? So you can see how the tone has changed from just the very beginning paragraph all the way to the end. So I'm going to give you about 10 seconds in your head to think about what do you think the author's purpose of just this beginning. Remember, this is only just a snippet of it. But where do you think the author is going with this? What is the purpose? I'm going to give you like 10 seconds to get your thoughts together in your head. What's the author's purpose? Why are they writing this? Okay, hopefully everybody has some kind of a thought. If not, that's okay. We're going to turn and talk to a neighbor or a partner. Some of you might not be necessarily sitting next to just an elbow partner. You may have a small conversation with each other. What is the author's purpose? Ready, share?
He wanted to spend quality time with
I need you to be involved. So you need to move in. You can either move in with JC and Haley, or right here. But I need you to be coaching. So if I were you, I'd stand up and go and you can maybe go.
so short, and not
You guys have an idea? Sydney, what did you and Miriam talk about? What do you think the author's purpose behind this is? That's okay. If you need to talk to her again to get I'll come back to you. Go ahead. Talk again. All right. Dakota, you guys had a great conversation. You guys had a few more people here. What did your group talk about? What is the author's purpose for this? Why did they write this particular snippet of a story, Coach Dad? Do you need the heads together again so that you have an idea? I need everybody to be ready. This group right here, go ahead and heads together again. Sydney, what did you and Miriam talk about? What if you had to guess, Sydney, what is their purpose behind this? Why did they write this? To show what? To show what? Any ideas? Okay, if I could get you two to turn and talk with Addison and Peyton, and that way you guys can have a little bit more of a group discussion, then I'll come right back to you, Sydney, okay? Okay, Dakota, go ahead. What did your group talk about? Oh, great. So to be involved with your children, but before you do that, you've got to ask for permission, right?
Yeah.
So if you could assume, how old do you think maybe Tammy is? When does that kind of start to take place? Reese, how old do you think Tammy is? Maybe your guys' age, right? For sure. Some of you could have even put your own self in that position of, oh, I don't know if I want my parents to be my coach. Sydney, what'd you guys talk about? To show how important quality time is. Good, Sydney. Nice job. Kevin, what did you guys talk about? What did your group talk about?
We talked about thinking before you think about what you done before, and then think of what's going to happen.
So maybe think before you speak, kind of a thing. Is that what I'm understanding? Yeah, like think before you speak. Like is dad excited or sad that he gets to spend more time?
Both.
He's excited, right? Right? So he's like, oh, to show my kids back to that quality time, to show my kids how dedicated I am to their quality time and spending more time with them. Oh my goodness, I'm going to sign up to be their coach. Do you think this dad maybe has the idea of, oh my gosh, I'm going to be so involved in what my kids do now. I can do this, I can do this, I can do that. Do you think he's just going to start doing a bunch of things?
Yeah.
Raise your hand, show of hands. How many of you think this dad is going to be now maybe a little bit more over involved because his work hours just changed and he has a little bit more flexibility? How many of you think that just by show of hands the dad's going to be a little bit more over involved? How many of you think, it's just going to be this because now that he knows how his daughter feels about it, maybe he's going to be not so excited? Okay, it's just a show of hands, so you shouldn't be talking. All right, very good. So when I say our signal word emulate, we are going to go back to our seats, and you're going to open up to your journal. We will record it in our table of contents. Drew a blank there for a second. We'll record it in our table of contents, but you need to open up your journal to your table of contents really quick, and we'll put our title in there, and then we will finish with our listen and sketch the rest of the story. Okay, so when I say emulate, when I say emulate, make sure you're sitting next to somebody that you can copy. Emulate. Copy. Emulate. Okay, back to your seats.
You're not in the script, dude. Sorry about that, but alright, guys. Clear yours out. Let's go.
Honey, you know what? I'm not really in control of that. Let us go. Hey, is yours? Pick up your stuff too, buddy. Here. Jaren, here. Out. Around. And push. I know, but yeah. Nice job, you guys.
Okay, let's get our headings.
Hey, I'm looking
For a group that's ready to go.
Page.
Nice job.
What should we head it with?
I'll get to that in 2 seconds. Okay, if you were busy talking, you were not doing what I asked you to do. It was head to your seat, take out your journal. And it should be open up to your table of contents. So I don't know whatever page you guys are on, put whatever page you are on. Maybe 20, I don't know. You're going to put lesson 14. Listen and sketch. If you can't see, I'll zoom in for you. I see some of you are already ready to go for the listen and sketch. Pencils remain down, completely down. I'm giving you open, there's no direction on how you can sketch this. You can sketch thoughts. Yeah. Yeah. Remember last time we changed it up. We did thought bubbles last time. This time you're gonna do the sketches.
We did that.
You should be in your seat and ready to go without talking. All right, all pencils are down. Some of you need to make good decisions with your pencils. Pencils should be down. Okay, here we go. No pencils should be in your hands. I tried to hide my panic. Ever since Dad left the company, he'd been attacking life as if it were a feast of fresh, savory foods. I was not going to spoil his happiness, but having him as a coach? Well, let's just say I was skeptical. I guess it's okay, Dad, I said. Just don't embarrass me. I went to my room to email my friends. Awful news, I wrote my teammates. My dad is coaching the team this year. Go ahead and sketch. Do a quick sketch. About 10 seconds. All right, pencils down. Pencils should be down. Even if you're not done, pencils are down. Pencils should be down. Perfect. The response was unexpected. We love your dad. And didn't he play soccer in college? And cool. He's always so into our games. Well, this was a problem. Last year when Dad showed up to root for us, well, let's just say his behavior wasn't exactly bland. Pacing up and down the sidelines, he'd shout stuff like, "Someone help guard the goal! Cover the forward, Tammy! Pick up the pace, girls, come on!" Sure, enthusiasm is nice, but Dad is such a fanatic I want to hide in the crowd like an anonymous spectator. This season we'd be without a real coach for the whole first month. To call us disorganized would be an understatement. My teammates were looking forward to our first practice with Dad on Saturday. My primary motive was to get through it without any major embarrassments. Quick sketch. In your journeys book? 350, 351. What? Our listen and sketch to CCDs? Good. I'm glad you like it. Oh yes, we're doing CCD. Oh, Sydney's excited too. Yay for CCDs. All right. So our focus your pencil pencils should be down from your sketch piece. Jaden's ready to go. This group's ready to go 350, 351. So we're going to focus on the vocabulary words that are not going to be on the assessment, but they're still important to the story. As I read through that, you may not have realized, but as I finish our read aloud, a lot of those vocabulary words, they will come back to you, especially since it's such a short snippet. These vocabulary words will ring a bell to you. So the first one we're going to do is motive. Say motive. Motive. Say motive to that one. Motive. Say motive in a low voice. Motive. Say it really slow. Motive. Okay, motive. So, I want you to, in your heads, just talk. So you need to make sure you write the word down. On your, it should be the first one. Oh, make sure you hand me. Oh. You needed an extra one. Did you not get one, Lucius? All right. There you go. So you're going to write the word motive, and it's right there in your book for you. It is card number 2. And it has the cards up in the spot. Okay, so I am going to read the card to you. Again, back to our learning target, it's all about using context clues. Okay, so I'm going to read the card. You can follow along in your book. Again, it's card number 2. And then what I'm going to do is you are going to write down your prediction, and then you're going to share with a partner. Okay? All right, here we go. Motive. The motive of volunteers is not to make money. The reason for their actions is to help those in need. Again, the motive of volunteers is not to make money. The reason for their actions is to help those in need. Okay. Think of that, what you might want that word, your prediction. If you're kind of stuck, that's okay. Please do not write the word emulate down yet, okay? We're going to cover that at another date. So motive. All right, turn to your partner and share what your prediction is for motive. Think about those context clues. What did you use? Go ahead.
Stay happy, stay active. Yeah, like stay active. Them being happy. Yeah.
The process of being active.
Being able to be like.
This one was a tricky one, wasn't it?
Get like a push.
It's hard to describe though, right? Yeah, it's a hard one to describe what the final definition is. Huh? The what? To want to do something? The reason why you do something? Okay, good. That's a good explanation. I like that.
Happy, motive, like be able to push someone.
All right, let's go ahead and a couple of you share really quick. Motive. Go ahead.
To want to do something.
Or raise your hand. What?
Want to do something.
To want to do something. To stay active. To help.
A reason or a goal.
A reason or a goal. So what does motive really mean? Motive, be ready to write for our final definition. Sketch will be your homework.
If you want
Okay.
to, if you're
The reason why someone does something. So the reason why someone does something, that's a motive.
Okay, the reason why someone does something. So prediction goes in our prediction box. And the reason why someone does something, we're going to do the oral sentence, yep. The reason why someone does something. And then for your homework tonight over break, you can do your final sketch. So what does that mean to you? How are you going to show the definition of the reason why someone does something? Yep, I gave you the final meaning. Yes, ma'am. Bless you. All right. The reason why someone does something. You'll do your sketch later. If you have time, yeah. If you're done. The reason why someone does something. Okay? All right, I'm going to give you 20 seconds to come up to heads together. Ooh. I give you like 20 seconds to come up with a team sentence using the word motive. Heads together. Let's try motive. Because motive is the reason why someone does something. When you change it to motivated, you're now changing it to a verb. Does that make sense? So try to use motive, okay? Good question. Okay, ready? Okay, heads together. Group sentence.
So like maybe motive could be.
So you can look at this.
The reason why because it said the motive of volunteers is not to make money; they want to be able to help. Their actions, like so, their actions.
Okay, say that out
Of
loud.
the food drive was
You're
to
thinking of the word.
give food to families.
So you're changing it from an idea, motive,
Because the motive of the food drive was to be able to
Can you give a sentence of why somebody was having
Does everyone know?
Yeah. Well, yes, so right on here, they do have that. Yeah, so the motive
reason why,
is, so come up with a team sentence.
Of the food drive, the motive of the food drive was to be able to give food to people that need it.
Do you guys have a team sentence? Okay, so you guys gotta come up together with a team. So, heads together. You gotta stop writing, heads together. We're gonna do that oral sentence, and all you're gonna do is place a check mark. You don't have to write it. You do not
Have to write the oral sentence, but if you chose to, that's okay so that you're ready to share. Okay? Number 2, right here. What was your team sentence?
Our oral sentence is our motive is to get a
Oh, our motive is to get a good education. This group right here, number 2.
The motive for the coach is to help the football team.
The motive for the coach is to help the football team. Nicely done. I like that. Okay, next. You ready for our next word? So next line, below motive. Do the word bland. Say bland. Say bland. Say bland to the floor. Say bland to your backpack. Say bland to your right pointer finger. Bland. Okay? Okay, it's card number 4. Card number 4. The nice thing about this is it shows a picture. Okay? All right.
Kind of get hungry. Is that right up that it's
Wait, do we have to come up with our own?
No, I want breadsticks.
The only thing that you should have done right now is you should have wrote the word bland. That's where we're at right this second. I'm going to read the card for you. Think about the context. And then this time, we're going to talk first about your prediction, and then you can write. All right? Bland. A day without a visit from a friend can be as bland as pasta without sauce. Okay? So, turn to a partner or as a team. Come up with a prediction for what bland means.
Because pasta without sauce.
It doesn't have any flavor to it.
Yeah, it's like you want like
So give
it's like having. That's a.
So this group right back there. How did you come up with your prediction for bland, number 1? What's your prediction?
You said boring and plain.
Boring and plain, I like it. This group right here, number 1. Man, I cannot get away from spoon number 1 with this group. Go ahead.
Plain.
Plain.
Not
Okay.
original.
And this group number 3. Who's 3? Go ahead, Alyssa. Plain or lifeless. Nicely done. So you're just going to put, very simple, boring.
Yes.
Say boring.
Can we put plain?
Put boring. Put boring on the final meaning. Boring. Boring. So pasta without sauce is, although some people like pasta without sauce. Boring. Boring. Hey, Emulate. Copy. Emulate. We'll do it again until everybody's participating, everybody's facing someone, and everybody's copying or emulating them. Ready? Emulate. Copy. Emulate. Nicely done. All right. So go ahead and turn to page 352 in your book. In your ELA book. And I want you to silently read the background information. I want you to silently read page 352, which is the background information. That requires no talking. 352, and you're reading. Just page 352. All right. So go ahead and turn to page 352 in your book. In your ELA book. And I want you to silently read the background information. I want you to silently read page 352, which is the background information. That requires no talking. 352, and you're reading. Just page 352.